zoom into your piece later. Okay, go.
Hi, I'm Carrie Fox. I'm an artist currently living in Pueblo, and I put this piece in the Artist Choice exhibit at Spanish Peaks Art Council. It is called Canva Study of Rothenberg's Pontiac. This piece is about, a good 27 years in the making. I have repurposed fabric here from an installation I did in 1994 at CU Boulder for my MFA thesis. And just last November, I got together with a group of artist friends in Denver, and we made some work for a collective called Mending Revisited. And at the time, we were all reading the book Slow Stitch by Claire Wellesley Smith. She's of the Slow Stitch movement in the UK. So I wanted to do something with textile art, with embroidery that was repurposing previously used materials. So I cut this organza out of some panels from an exhibit 24 years ago. And some of the stitching was still there from the old piece, but most of it, like this image and some of the edging, was not. And I put several pieces of fabric together because a embroidery technique I learned in the Slow Stitch book was called kantha, and that embroidery occurs in Southeast Asia and in India and other places in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, where they might put together pieces of fabric and use a basic back stitch to create more warmth, to maybe like make a quilt or make an item of clothing that's mended where you're putting more pieces of fabric together. So that was the technique that I wanted to use. And then in terms of the image, I'm always asking myself, what kind of imagery can I use to answer the question of what is a contemporary American Western image? And what came to my mind was the late painter Susan Rothenberg, the abstract expressionist painter, her horse iconography. So in this image I appropriated something of hers, and it's a bit of an homage to her. She did happen to pass away in the past week. However, I made this prior to that. And this is from her painting Pontiac in the late 1970s of a horse. And so I just used that as the imagery, and then I used the kantha technique on the fabric. And that is my piece for the show.
Great.
Yeah.
What is the dark piece that runs through it? Is that imaging something in particular?
Well, in her painting, there is a horse image, and there is a bar across the horse. And she was kind of known for, she broke away from some of the other minimalist abstract expressionist painters who were just doing color fields and lines. She used the horse as an icon, but she said it didn't actually have some of the meaning and the myth that horses do for some people, and for her, because it didn't have that association, she could put an X out through it, she could put a line across it. It was just something that she used in her iconography and her abstract painting.
Oh, fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Carrie. It's a great piece, and we hope to have more of you here. That'd be great.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.